Qin Fei smiled lightly and replied, Mr. Ma is also doing well. I've heard that your e-commerce development is thriving, with daily sales figures continuously soaring. This was indeed a golden era for the internet. And after promoting the online shopping platform, their daily sales figures were skyrocketing, sometimes even doubling in a day. If this continued, they might achieve daily sales of over 100 million. Of course, this wasn't profit, but reaching over 100 million RMB in sales was an incredible feat. Mr. Ma wore a bright smile and said, This is all thanks to Mr. Qin's support. Without your help, we at Alibaba wouldn't have developed to this stage. Qin Fei was filled with confidence, as he now held a controlling stake in Alibaba and planned to increase his share. He smiled seriously and said, Mr. Ma, I plan to introduce you to a few people, all from my Qin's entertainment company. In the future, we might have collaborations, as online shopping also includes cinema tickets. We can jointly establish a business. Mr. Ma's eyes lit up, and he looked very happy, thinking about the prospect of a joint business. Indeed, Mr. Qin has great foresight. I've long thought about establishing Alibaba film industry to develop entertainment, which would be quite powerful. I didn't expect that I had just envisioned it, and Mr. Qin has already begun to act. You are truly remarkable. The other party admires him from the bottom of his heart, being able to predict what he will develop in the future. He feels that this Qin Xiao is truly amazing. How could Qin Fei, who has been reborn, not be extraordinary? He knows that this film industry is absolutely formidable. Investing in it early and getting it off the ground is to solidify the position of Qin's entertainment. With the help of Alibaba, Qin's entertainment can soar. If we talk about the relationship between the two, it is significant. In the future, ticket sales will definitely be primarily online. Buying tickets directly in reality is already outdated. Online shopping will definitely dominate in the mainland, and no matter what you buy, it will be online payment. Therefore, buying movie tickets online is a big deal. Just think about it. What used to be 100 offline ticket purchases is now all online. 99 of online tickets need to be issued with box office statistics, popcorn purchases, etc., all requiring a platform to complete. Thus, the online shopping Alibaba is definitely a huge profit. Controlling this channel for online movie ticket sales, it's impossible for Qin's entertainment not to think of it. At that time, he can also take out some money to open a few film companies in the mainland, making money from box office sales and popcorn. Thinking of this, Qin Fei had an expectant look on his face as he continued to wait for the two directors to arrive. Director Zhang arrived at the agreed time, bringing another director with him, which surprised Qin Fei. He really didn't expect the other party to bring a big director. Of course, more surprising than him was the big director Jiang that Director Zhang brought this time. He was invited over, through his friend Director Zhang, to meet Mr. Qin. He knew the other party was formidable, but he didn't expect him to be so close to the CEO of the largest online shopping platform in the country, which shocked him considerably. Ma Yin can be considered a big figure. In front of him, he is indeed a small character. As a director, is not that impressive. There are many capable directors in the mainland, but there is only one founder of the largest online shopping platform, Mr. Ma. Not to mention, even Mr. Ma appears humble in front of Mr. Qin from Hong Kong. This Mr. Qin, a wealthy man from Hong Kong, is too powerful. What shocked him even more was the other party's youth. He is actually so young, even younger than his own son. Is this really the Mr. Qin from Hong Kong? As Director Zhang approached with a smiling greeting, it made him realize he hadn't mistaken the person. Mr. Qin, I didn't know you knew Mr. Ma. Now I know. The online shopping platform is thriving, and Mr. Ma's platform is quite impressive, with daily sales exceeding 30 million renminbi, driving the trend in the country. Chapter 79. What hobbies does Mr. Qin have? Director Jiang, with a flattering expression, spoke to Mr. Ma, who smiled and humbly replied, This is all thanks to Mr. Qin's investment. After Mr. Qin invested, we had the funds to expand the market. Otherwise, without money, we wouldn't be able to open up the market at all. Mr. Qin's support is too important for us. With a look of admiration, he gazed at Qin Fei, thinking that if it weren't for the last business gathering where he met Qin Fei, he wouldn't know what would happen to his company. For business development, having someone willing to invest is indeed crucial. Although the future of a certain platform looks promising and has great potential, without financial input, it can't open up the market, and it's impossible to become the #1 online shopping platform in the country. Entrepreneurship projects cannot rely solely on the entrepreneur. The most important factor is the group of investors and shareholders behind them. It is this group that invests money to ensure the development of the entrepreneurial project. For instance, this time, Alibaba encountered a bottleneck and wanted to open up national express delivery channels, which requires substantial funding. The industry that needs to be established requires even more assets. Hundreds of millions in funding need to be poured in, and all of this requires Qin Fei's investment. If Qin Fei cannot invest, he would have to look for other people. At that time, he would have to distribute the shares he holds in order to attract investment. This is not what Qin Fei wants to see. The future of Alibaba is very bright, and he wouldn't mind the current investment being too large. The more he invests now, the more profitable it will be in the future. Therefore, before Mr. Ma could speak, he proactively offered an investment of 10 billion renminbi to establish the Alibaba online ticketing system, while also providing another 10 billion to continue expanding the logistics channels of a certain platform. In total, that is 20 billion renminbi, which is indeed a lot. It is rare for anyone in the country to be willing to invest hundreds of millions. This young Qin Xiao is so wealthy that he casually mentions 20 billion without batting an eye. It's clear he was well prepared. 20 billion is nothing to him. The wealthy people of Xiangjiang are indeed extraordinarily rich. No wonder he was selected as one of Xiangjiang's outstanding youths and has a great reputation there. Ma Yin was very happy and smiled, saying, "Mr. Qin, thank you for this 20 billion investment. I really need this funding. I have high hopes for Alibaba Pictures. It is absolutely a peak entertainment enterprise with greater potential for development. I only want 10 of the shares, and I am willing to give the remaining 10 to a few distinguished directors." After saying this, he looked at the two directors, and both Director Zhang and Director Jiang were taken aback. They never expected that upon meeting Qin Fei, they would be brought on as partners in such a large film enterprise and receive 10 of the shares for free. They were very excited, especially Director Jiang, who was full of joy. "Mr. Ma, thank you so much. However, I currently lack the strength and haven't helped Mr. Qin's company shoot many films yet, so taking shares wouldn't be appropriate. I'll discuss shares when I have the capability." This time, Qin Fei proactively spoke, looking at Director Jiang with approval. This director definitely has strength. Between 2008 and 2010, he produced many well-known films, such as Let the Bullets Fly and various major films set in the Republican era, which were critically and commercially successful. Having such a capable director is definitely worth keeping. With a smile, Qin Fei said, "Director Zhang's strength is undeniable. I trust Mr. Zhang's judgment. Therefore, each of you will receive 5 of the shares. If more directors join in the future, I will allocate my own shares. For now, you each get 5, and in the future, you will also receive 5 of the profits for box office shares." Both of them were excited, with Director Jiang being the happiest. He was a bit worried that Qin Fei wouldn't be willing to invest in him. After all, he had worked as a screenwriter and assistant director in Xiangjiang, participating in some film shoots as a minor character. Returning to the mainland, he had not realized his dream of directing a major film. For a newcomer director like him, attracting investment is very difficult, especially for a first major production. It requires at least 30 million renminbi in investment, which generally scares off producers. This time, he sought Qin Fei to attract investment, but unexpectedly, not only did he get investment, but he was also directly made a shareholder in a 10 billion industry, just by getting 5 of the shares. Based on the current value of the film company, that is a capital of 50 million renminbi. This is truly impressive. Coming in at a valuation of 50 million makes it impossible for him not to be happy and excited while looking at Qin Fei, with tears of gratitude in his eyes. "Mr. Qin, meeting you this time is truly my fortune. I originally just came to seek investment, but I didn't expect you to make me a shareholder directly. Don't even mention the 5 profit from box office shares, even if there's no remuneration. As long as I can complete a film, I'll be happy. And since you're willing to give me 5 of the shares, I, Jiang, am willing to consider you a confidant. If there are no profits from the box office, I'll just leave." He patted his chest to guarantee the box office revenue. Seeing the serious look on his face, Qin Fei wanted to laugh. The entertainment industry in the mainland in 2008 was indeed full of talent. Just 5 of the shares. A valuation of 50 million renminbi made him willing to shoot films for him. The gratitude was overwhelming. It was a kindness he would never forget in his lifetime. This time, he truly made a great profit. Even if the other party's film doesn't make money, with a few more films, they would definitely earn a lot. Moreover, with the other party's filming strength, he could help cultivate a few big stars. Even without relying on box office earnings, he could make money through the stars. How could he not be happy? With a warm expression, he politely invited several people to dinner. Receiving Qin Fei's generous hospitality, the three of them were extremely delighted. Ma Yun, having secured the investment, was the happiest since he stood to gain the most. Once the 20 billion renminbi arrived, he would continue to develop the company and strive to get it listed as soon as possible. At that time, his net worth would definitely reach an astonishing level. The company's value would undoubtedly see a significant increase. As for directors Zhang and Jiang, their faces were glowing. Gaining Qin Fei's appreciation and cooperating with Alibaba to establish such a large entertainment group as Alibaba Pictures was a major opportunity for them. Receiving 10 of his shares for free was incredibly satisfying. They were indeed grateful for Qin Fei's recognition, and although Qin Fei was younger than them, his conduct made them feel very comfortable. He gave them plenty of face, and all the expenses at the extravagant venue were covered by Qin Fei. To be honest, enjoying food, drinks, and entertainment here could easily cost nearly 1 million RMB. They really couldn't afford such indulgence. Only by following Qin Fei could they enjoy all of this, which made their admiration for him reach an unparalleled level. The service at the extravagant venue was immensely enjoyable, with beautiful waitresses serving tea and pouring wine and an abundance of delicacies. By the end of the meal, both of them couldn't help but sigh continuously. Looking at Qin Fei, who was young and full of charm, director Jiang couldn't help but speak to his good friend, director Zhang. Who exactly is this Qin Xiao? Director Zhang shook his head. He actually didn't know much either. After all, he was just a filmmaker and didn't understand finance. I only know that he is a well-known wealthy person in Xiangjiang, and that even Wang Jing has a good relationship with him. Qin Xiao is really wealthy. Until now, he has invested in several companies, continuously pouring in money without considering the returns at all. Director Jiang nodded. Knowing that director Zhang's art film was something he wasn't even looking at the box office for, he directly said to invest, which shows he is not short on money. As a director, one needs to please the producer, but he truly doesn't know how to make the producer happy. His expression was hesitant, and he couldn't help but ask, what do you think Qin Xiao might lack or like? I have a few contracted artists. If I introduce them to him, do you think he would be satisfied? Director Zhang shook his head, saying he couldn't make that decision. If he upset the other party, then he wouldn't even be able to make his own film. Director Jiang, however, was a bit eager to try. Thinking about this matter, to please Qin Fei, he really wanted to introduce a few female stars to him. He just didn't know what type the other party liked. When leaving, Director Jiang, with a smile on his face, approached Qin Fei and handed over his personal contact number, while unable to resist saying something. Qin Xiao, my movie casting has already begun. If you're willing to invest in my film, your cooperation will definitely be needed for this casting. I will contact some famous big stars for the lead selection, and I believe Mr. Qin will surely be interested. Qin Fei looked at him with curiosity, feeling that the other party's smile was a bit strange. What does the movie role selection have to do with me? Director Jiang immediately explained in a low voice, Mr. Qin, it's very rare to obtain resources in the mainland now. Many films have predetermined candidates. Public selections are merely for show. In reality, many are set in advance. So even second-tier stars find it difficult to get good scripts. When the time comes, they are willing to do anything for a script. After saying this, he smiled ambiguously. This is considered a rule in the industry. Qin Fei also smiled, thinking that to cultivate stars for the company, he needs more powerful big stars to help his company make money. Wen Yang and Wen Zhaoliang are definitely not enough. It's not that he doesn't like the two women. The company really needs more capable female stars. He nodded and readily agreed. Okay, leave it to me. Just reserve the lead role for me, and I'll take care of the selection. Director Jiang immediately agreed and helped Qin Fei arrange the promotion for the film's start and the early casting. Rather than calling it casting, It would be more accurate to say it's a talent show for Qin Fei. Anyone in the industry who wants to climb up but doesn't have many resources will definitely pay attention. Chapter 80, the consumption in Beijing, is also very high. Director Jiang has little power in front of big capital, but in the eyes of second-tier and third-tier stars, he is a true big director. Seeing the other party's enthusiastic expression, Qin Fei also lived up to their expectations. They were flattering him for movie investments. The movie they were filming had a cost of only 20 million renminbi, and right after dinner, he transferred the money directly to their account. In addition, the 2 billion renminbi investment from Alibaba was also transferred in full. Furthermore, he spent several hundred million RMB on real estate in Beijing, and his investment in Tencent amounted to over 5 billion Hong Kong dollars. His total assets were in the trillions of HKD, so he certainly didn't mind such expenditures. In fact, he felt that the consumption in Beijing was still too low. How could it compare to Xiangjiang? He had purchased an office building in Xiangjiang for 50 billion Hong Kong dollars. In the mainland, who knows how many enterprise assets that could invest in? He could acquire many potential companies for just 5 billion Hong Kong dollars. It was too cheap. In the afternoon, Qin Fei met with Yang Fong, and together they looked at a duplex apartment in Shenshui Bay. It was a large high-rise building that Qin Yao had never seen before, with an entire floor to themselves. From the moment they arrived, Qin Yao's eyes widened in amazement as the manager led them in. The high-end amenities of the community, even the property management, were top-notch. There were matching high-end security guards who greeted them as they approached and actively helped press the elevator button. The elevator operated on a 1-unit per elevator basis. After all, there was only one residential unit on the entire floor. The usable area exceeded 300 square meters. This time, they were buying a super large area of 500 square meters, including 2 levels of a duplex luxury apartment. In this Hojiang community, it was one of the few units available. If it weren't for Yang Fong helping to find connections, it would have been really hard to buy. The beautiful saleswoman beside them smiled and said, "Mr. Yang, this unit you're looking at is one of only 5 we have. Our environment here is great, and there will definitely be a lot of room for appreciation in the future." Yang Fong smiled and laughed. "This is my nephew who wants to buy it. He has already bought several buildings in Beijing and heard this place is nice, so we came to take a look." The saleswoman was surprised and glanced at Qin Fei, originally thinking it was Mr. Yang who was buying, but didn't he expect it to be such a young man? Moreover, he seemed to understand the environment here better than she did. The area was close to the elevated highway between Beijing and Xiangjiang, and across a large river. One could see Xiangjiang. The geographical location was indeed excellent. In the future, there wouldn't be such good places. According to your current selling price of 20,000 RMB per square meter, 500 square meters would only be 10 million renminbi. It was really too cheap. The beautiful saleswoman smiled bitterly, as she never expected the other party to say it was too cheap. Her current monthly salary, not including commission, was only 5,000 RMB as a base salary. If she really wanted to buy this apartment, it would take her hundreds of years of salary. To think someone would say 10 million renminbi is cheap. But considering he was a wealthy person from Xiangjiang, she immediately understood. With a smile, she said, "Of course, after all, on this side, the other side is Xiangjiang, where every inch of land is worth its weight in gold. Compared to the land prices over there, we are indeed very cheap." Qin Fei laughed and said, "That's right. 10 million renminbi. I want to buy a few more units. How many do you have left? I could just buy them all." The saleswoman's jaw dropped. She understood that this Xiangjiang tycoon was really wealthy. As they chatted, he even wanted to buy more units. This was genuine wealth. She could only say, "For such large units, there are only about 2 available. 1 unit is 10 million, 2 units are 19 million renminbi. If you want to pay in full, this is the best price I can offer you." Qin Fei sighed. It wasn't because of the price, but because there were only 2 units of 500 square meters, which was really too few. The location was so good. In the future, let alone 10 million per unit, even 100 million per unit would be considered cheap. Units like this, with such a prime location and large duplexes, had a greater chance of appreciation. However, even though he had the money, the most they could sell was 2 units. The other units had long been reserved by people from Xiangjiang. After 2008, many from Xiangjiang came to Beishan to buy houses, knowing that Beishan's housing prices were rising. Although it was a pity to only get 2 units, Qin Fei still bought both of the 500 square meter apartments. That was a total of 1,000 square meters of luxury housing. Once they entered, they could truly appreciate the comfort of the place. Upon entering the beautifully decorated large living room, every design element was the latest trend. The super large floor-to-ceiling windows offered a view of the river. Looking along the river, one could see the vibrant nightlife of Xiangjiang. In comparison, Xiangjiang seemed quite small. The environment in Beishan was indeed better and more spacious. Not to mention him, even Qin Yao fell in love with it. Seeing the floor-to-ceiling windows and the spacious living room of over 100 square meters, she truly adored it. It was much more beautiful than the luxury homes they lived in Xiangjiang. It was significantly larger, although the Xiangjiang properties were villas. The usable area was definitely not as large as this one. The decoration style was also not as good, with floor-to-ceiling windows and European-style design. The living room also had a bar-like area for gatherings and leisure. Qin Yao was genuinely enamored. Brother, this place is so beautiful. I feel like it's even better than our Xiangjiang. I don't want to go back. Wow. I feel like living here is more comfortable than in Xiangjiang. If I could come here to stay for a few months every year, it would be really nice. Seeing this large duplex luxury apartment, Qin Yao loved it so much that she didn't want to return to Xiangjiang. She really wanted to settle down here. Qin Fei nodded, knowing that the area here was larger than the luxury homes in Xiangjiang. The living environment was also significantly better, considering the development of Beishan, various high-end consumption, luxury malls, and places for the wealthy to enjoy life would not be much worse than Xiangjiang. In fact, it could be said to be even more luxurious. 10 years from now, many people from Xiangjiang would flock to Beishan for consumption, indulging in the extravagant life here, which would further boost Beishan's economy and consumption levels. The future here was certainly impressive. Qin Fei was very pleased. Finding a few servants here would make living much more comfortable than in Xiangjiang. He patted Qin Yao's head and smiled. If you get tired of living in Xiangjiang in the future, just come to Beishan for a few days. Now that the highways are connected, you could drive here in just an hour. Qin Yao nodded, thinking about how convenient it would be to drive over. She was planning to stay in Xiangjiang for a few days and then come to Beishan for a few days. This was the life of a little wealthy woman she had always dreamed of. The saleswoman beside them also smiled, introducing several high-end malls nearby, which surprised Qin Yao. She hadn't expected that the high-end consumption areas in Beishan were even more numerous than in Xiangjiang. Wow, brother, there are high-end shopping places here too. Does that mean we can buy various imported goods there? I thought only on Queens Road in Xiangjiang could we get those, but I didn't realize they had them here too. Qin Fei nodded and casually said, the Sanlitun area here is originally a place for wealthy people to shop. High-end stores like Balenciaga and Gucci are all open there. There are also quite a few gowns costing over 100,000 RMB. When the time comes, I'll take you to see, Qin Yao exclaimed, realizing I just found out that the consumption in Beishan ISN much worse than in Xiangjiang. Brother, I finally understand why you wanted to buy here. It seems that this villa will definitely be worth a lot in the future. Of course, 10 years from now, it will start at 100 million. In 20 years, it might reach over 1 billion renminbi. Right now, it's only 10 million renminbi. The housing prices in Beijing and Shenzhen are so high that it will be reflected immediately in the coming years. He signed a contract with the sales team to secure 2 units for 19 million renminbi, obtaining the resident identity card here, while also helping Qin Yao with her application. He plans to give 1 unit to Qin Yao and keep the other for himself. Sometimes, living together with his brother can be quite inconvenient, especially if he has several girlfriends. If they get caught in an awkward situation, it can be quite embarrassing. This has happened quite a few times, especially when he was close to Zhao, Lying, and Yang Yi. She always seemed to appear at those moments. He even suspects that Qin Yao might be doing it on purpose. Now, Qin Yao is sticking close to him, planning how many servants and housekeepers to hire to tidy up the place. Her closeness clearly indicates she doesn't intend to separate anytime soon. After purchasing the duplex luxury apartment, Yang Fong mentioned something. He used his savings to buy Matai stocks, which have risen by 100, surpassing the 1,000 RMB mark. He was indeed very excited. This time, his entire savings had doubled significantly. With the money Yang Yi sent back, plus his own savings, he went from several million RMB to tens of millions RMB. Yang Fong is genuinely happy now, and when he talks about this, he smiles. Xiaofei, the Matai stocks you recommended are indeed amazing. They've recently risen past 1,000 RMB. At this rate, I feel like they could even break 2,000 RMB. By the way, should I sell now, or wait until it breaks 2,000 RMB? Qin Fei hesitated for a moment and advised Yang Fong. Breaking the 2,000 RMB stock price is still quite difficult right now. Uncle Fong, it's best to sell now. Then he suggested investing in the listed Penguin stocks in Hong Kong, which belong to my company. No matter what the stock price is when it goes public, it will definitely rise. With Qin Fei saying this, Yang Fong was more than willing to believe him. Everything the Yang family has now is thanks to Qin Fei. Now he has 30 million renminbi in savings, and if it doubles again, that will be 60 million in Beijing and Shenzhen. This amount is enough for a very comfortable life. Not to mention, he also owns several commercial properties. He has bought a total of 3 units. And this year he added 2 more. Relying on these 5 residences, becoming a billionaire in the future will be quite easy. He really admires Qin Fei's insight. The Matai stocks he recommended are indeed impressive. Upon hearing that the Penguin company held by Qin Fei is going public in Hong Kong, he insisted on buying in as well, feeling that his nephew is incredibly capable. Not to mention that the assets in Hong Kong are comparable to the 4 major families. This time, with Penguin going public, his assets might continue to rise. He is a bit worried about his daughter. Finding someone who matches her is indeed quite difficult. He didn't mention the marriage with Yang Yi because he understands that all the control lies with Qin Fei. Chapter 81, the future heir of the Qin family. Yang Yi is now a big star, earning several million RMB in advertising revenue every month. Qin Fei has also promised to give Yang Yi 30 of the shares in the Xiangjiang Entertainment Company. The Qin Xiangjiang Entertainment Company is bound to develop, and by then, it will be easy for Qin Fei to invest a little money to boost the company's value to tens of billions of Hong Kong dollars. It is said that the total value of the Xiangjiang Entertainment Company can exceed 5 billion Hong Kong dollars. With a 30 stake, Yang Yi is worth 5 billion Hong Kong dollars. That's 5 billion Hong Kong dollars, which is over a billion RMB. What could Yang Fong be dissatisfied about? The Yang family's living conditions have greatly improved with their daughter being a big star. He is even planning to buy a new car, having ordered a Mercedes worth 1 million RMB. He can pick it up next month. So he truly values Qin Fei, as both his daughter and the future of the Yang family depend on him. He understands that Qin Fei is no longer the young nephew who needed his help. The other party has gained fame in Xiangjiang, catching up with the 4 major families and controlling significant capital. He has to reassess his attitude towards Qin Fei and be more cautious, especially since he knows those big bosses. There truly isn't anyone as impressive as this nephew. The other party's fame and status compel him to treat Qin Fei with respect, afraid of upsetting him and affecting his daughter's future. However, Qin Fei doesn't care much. Yang Fong is originally his relative, and apart from Qin Yao, he is also the closest person. Their relationship aside, the Yang family has helped him a lot in the past. As Yang Fong drives him home, he notices Yang Fong's cautious demeanor and can't help but smile, speaking directly. Uncle Fong, Yang is already pregnant now, almost a month along. When she reaches 3 months, I plan to have her take good care of the pregnancy. If she doesn't want to give birth in the country, I can contact the best hospital in the Lighthouse country to let her give birth there. Upon hearing this, Yang Fong immediately smiled. The child in his daughter's belly is truly a treasure. This is the bloodline of the Qin family, which will further connect him with Qin Fei. Knowing that his daughter is pregnant and that he will soon have a grandson makes him very happy. Listening to Qin Fei's arrangements, he beams with a bright smile. Your aunt has been wanting to hold a grandson for a long time. It would be great if he can have a son this time. Little Fei, your family business is expanding. Having a son is better for inheritance. Actually, we think that even if it's not a son, having 2 more would be better. I have to say, Yang Fong is quite traditional. But who wouldn't want a big family business? Of course, he hopes for a boy. However, Qin Fei doesn't share this traditional view. He smiles lightly and says, "Boys and girls are the same. I will give them some inheritance rights." This promise from Qin Fei reassures Yang Fang. Nevertheless,